a lot of people are just focusing on the top 20%. Why? Because that's where the cool things happen, like machine learning, AI, deep learning. That's what you read in the newspaper. The foundation of the machine learning workflow is essentially the first step that you need to do. Okay, it helps you to set the direction and set the stage with stakeholders. Because you have to ask a few questions with the people who you're working for, like, okay, so what's the problem that you're trying to solve? Is it really a problem and why? Okay, for whom is it a problem? And is machine learning the right approach for this problem? If you don't have a full grasp with your stakeholders, good answers on this just don't even start because the foundation is not there. So the foundational first step is set the direction. The second one, why you want to do this, you want alignment with your stakeholders. Because in a lot of businesses what we see is that data science teams, they just work in isolation. They do their own thing, which is great if you do R&D and innovation. But the reality is that most companies are not in R&D and innovation, they just need a solution to a problem. So you have to make sure that, okay, I'm going to work on this and it's aligned with what you're expecting. And the third one is during the project and especially after the project, you have to be able to communicate in the language of the stakeholders, that they understand, because if you don't, there's a complete disconnect. Let's give you a quick example. Let's say you're being tasked to build a machine learning model to classify brain tumors between benign and malignant. Okay? Now, a typical data scientist answer would be, you know what, we applied a deep learning network with 10 hidden layers and the accuracy of the model is 91%. 9 out of 10, if you say that to stakeholders, they look at you and they blank stare like, we have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? So a better way to say is, well, we use pretty modern machine learning, okay, and it turns out that our model is pretty good at classifying benign tumors, but it's not as good to classify malignant tumors. In other words, we still have some work to do. So that's more in the business speak for the stakeholders. So again, the foundation is, okay, set the direction, know what we're talking about, make sure everybody's on the same page, and make sure that you communicate in the terms that they understand. Well, there are quite a few actually, but by far the number one is focusing on the wrong side of the data iceberg. So visualize an iceberg where let's say the top is above water, the rest is under the water. What happens now in our society and organizations is that a lot of people are just focusing on the top 20%. Why? Because that's where the cool, no pun intended, but the cool things happen, like machine learning, AI, deep learning. That's what you read in the newspaper. What a lot of organizations don't realize is that in order to do that, you need uniform, consistent data sets. So you need to get from raw data, which is messy, to data sets that is structured that you can work with, because otherwise machine learning is not going to work. And that's stuff that people don't realize. So there's a huge focus on the top 20% without realizing that the 80% has to be done. As a metaphor, you cannot build a house with a foundation. Well, you can, but as soon as the first northeastern storm comes, the house will crumble. So that's the key thing that companies don't realize. And then circling back to what I earlier said, it's like people start to work in isolation. People cannot convey the message in the language of stakeholders. So you can have the best machine learning model out there, you can have the best data scientists, you can have the best data, but if you do not, if you don't follow those procedures like communication, alignment, it's going to fail. So I would say those four, and of those four, the data management is by far in every project that we have seen. We have seen no project yet where we walked in, this is walk in the park. As a matter of fact, as a final remark on this topic is, as a company, if you build a machine learning model and everything goes smooth from the beginning till the end, be very suspicious, because chances are that there's something wrong.